All right, let's welcome in our guest, Collin Sexton. Collin, what's up, man?
It's good. It's good.
We really appreciate you joining us. I know we talk about it all the time on the podcast, but our schedules this year are just crazy. So we appreciate the time you sitting down with us. I don't know if you're watching any March Madness games. I typically don't watch a ton of basketball, but I've watched quite a bit of this tournament so far. So I thought we'd actually start with a moment in your career from college that sort of puts you on the map, which is probably one of the craziest things I've seen happen on a basketball court in the last 20 years or so, and that's your 3-on-5 game. So can you kind of just break down what happened, what transpired to get to the point where you're at Alabama, you're playing 3-on-5 against a team, and you drop 40?
I think Minnesota, they were like top 10. So that was one of the games that we wanted really bad, and we wanted to win just because there was a team that we felt like we could beat. So just coming into the game, we already had some type of hostility towards them anyway. So like during warm-ups and stuff, we was going back and forth and talking trash a little bit. And then once the game got going on, then whenever something breaks out, players step onto the court, from the bench, they're automatically ejected no matter what. If you take one step on there, you get ejected. So that happened, and then we was left with 5 players. So then we had 5 players. We was doing good, and then one of our other players had fouled out for a rebound. I don't know why he went for the rebound or whatnot, because we only had 5. You have 4 fouls, you get away. So then it was down to 4, and then John Petty shoots the 3 at the top of the key. Comes down, rolls his ankle. Now we're at 3 with 10 minutes to go. And it was just I didn't know if they was going to cancel the game just because I never seen it. And coach was like, all right, now we got now. So it was one of those games where we just continue to fight, just continue to play hard. And we brought it back as much as 2 or 3, I think 2 points. And we just ran out of gas. We just ran out of gas and ran out of timeouts. So that was it.
But you technically outscored them, right? When you guys were on the court, because they were up on you. So you still, even though you didn't win the game, you outscored them 3-on-5.
Oh yeah, we definitely did. We outscored them. I don't know what it was, but we definitely outscored them to come back. And it's kind of hard to make wide open jump shots when everyone's looking at you. So they couldn't hit any shots, any threes or anything. And their coach was so frustrated. And I got to see him at one of the EYBL events, and he was giving me a hard time. He was like, "You almost cost me my job." That was a moment that I'm always remember. So,
What was going through your mind though? So I'm just trying to picture myself in this situation. We're down 3, and I don't know who the other 2 players. I don't watch a ton of college basketball. I did watch this, but I don't remember who the other 2 guys on the court were. But are you thinking to yourself like, I'm gonna shoot every fucking shot for the next 10 minutes against 3 defenders?
Absolutely. I was like, I'm going to shoot every time down. This is perfect. But I'm not even going to lie to you. The coach was like, I don't care what you do. We have to get a shot up every time down. So I was like, all right, that's fine with me. So it was one of those games where I look back at it, during the moment, when I'm out there playing, I didn't think it would be 3 years from now, they're still talking about it. It's something every time it comes up, the anniversary of this game. It's crazy. Just after the game, the energy that their fans gave me was it was crazy, because their fans was cheering for them, and they started cheering for us, and they wanted to see us win at the end of the day. But that's one game that is always going to stick out to me.
I feel like that's a game that's gonna carry. You'll be a 15-year vet, and people will, and it'll be 2033, and people will still talk about that game. It's such an anomaly.
Absolutely. Just the simple fact that no one's seen it before. And,
no one. I can't remember it ever happening
at all. So that was just one that's that starts every conversation whenever I meet someone. Every conversation, that's the start.
This was November. This was early your freshman year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like that it gave you confidence at all? Is it a little bit you're not going to have anything crazier than that happen? You know what I mean? Because you obviously had a great freshman year before you came to the league.
Yeah, it was nothing else like that was going to happen like nothing better. Like it was just one of those things that was just like that stuck out the entire season. And then after that happened, like coach just he knew what he was going to expect out of us. He knew like we was going to compete. He knew like he wanted us to play hard, so he always like brought that up during film, during meetings, everything. So
this was Avery, right? Avery was your coach, right?
yeah, Avery Johnson.
So I was watching one of the tournament games last night, and I turned the volume up, and I heard his voice.
Yes.
And I didn't even know that he was announcing the game, but his voice is the most unmistakable voice, maybe in basketball. Like it's wild.
Yes. It is, and like it's him from 1,000 miles away. So like it's been a few times where like I'll be in class, like when I was in class, and all you hear is, how's he doing? And it's like, oh my God, like what are you doing here? Like you just supposed to stay in the gym. You're not supposed to be in the classroom. So his voice just stuck out. No matter where you hear his voice on TV, you hear him on the phone. It's always the same.
I'm sure you're well aware of this, and we had Zion on recently, and we talked about this viral video of him being guarded by this smaller high school player. That high school player turned out to be a really good player. He's going D1 next year to Charleston Southern, and Zion gave a breakdown of the video or whatever. And you know, it's just interesting because we're having you on, and you have a bunch of videos that have gone viral. You know, one of which, of course, is this 3-on-5 video, but there's the Josh Hart defense in the summer league, where you're locking him up at the end of regulation.
Yeah.
There's the stare down. I think that's when you were in high school.
I was high school.
I wanted to get a breakdown of the stare down video.
I actually, like, when it came out, like the next day, I didn't remember doing it. Like, so I was just at the free throw line. I see him looking, and whenever someone's looking, like if you look away, then you know they say like they got you beat, like they're intimidated. So I was like, I'm not gonna look away. Like I see him looking at me, so I just bent down and I looked dead at him, and then he looked away. So I think I got him. I got the best of him right there. So that video just went everywhere. Like that video is one that I forgot about, like how much people talk about that one as well. It's crazy.
Did that one come up? Was that a thing right away, or did that take a little bit of time?
Right away. Like everyone texted and called, like, you really did this in the game? I'm like, listen, I didn't even know. I was just out there playing, and I didn't realize that I did it until it happened.
I mean, it's a meme and it's a GIF now. Like it's dude,
everywhere.
You're such a young player, and you already have these legendary moments, and a lot of it, like the 3-on-5. You know, this moment between this kid wanting to lock Josh up at the end of regulation, which you did, by the way. And Josh Hart's my guy, my teammate. I'm just saying, Collin Sexton locked you up, Josh. I just want to point that out. But it stems from an underlying intensity and competitiveness that you have.
Right. Like I'm just very competitive. I think like just growing up, my family and everyone, we all like a competitive family. Like no matter what, it was playing card games or playing board games, we all like one of us wanted to win like really bad. So I feel like it just stems from my family, like just being so competitive, and I love to compete. That's why I play basketball.
Tell me about the alarm clock that you asked for as a kid for Christmas.
Well, it was like I was getting up early in the morning, but I wanted to be better. Like it was after a game where I felt like I could have done better or whatnot, and the other team got the best of me. So like Christmas was coming up, so I was like, Dad, I asked my parents, I was like, I want an alarm clock, and they was like, alarm clock. So I'll set it for 5:15 every morning, and make sure I just go ran, dribble the ball, and just did something that morning. And I feel like that helped me a whole lot, just because like once I got to like high school, and then once I got to college, then waking up at 5 o'clock, it wasn't nothing, because I've been doing it since I was in elementary school. So it was something that I didn't realize it would be something that would help me down the future and help me down the line. But I'm glad I asked for that alarm clock.
Wait, how old were you when you did this?
I was young. I was really
like young, like 9 or 10 young.
Yeah, really young, because I had a older brother anyway. Like, so my older brother, he was big on basketball, so I always wanted to beat him, and I was just like, I'm gonna beat him one day, and that was also my motivation, was to beat him and be like him. So that was it.
There was a high school teammate of mine at the beginning of my senior year. We decided we were going to meet every morning at 5:30 in the morning and go. And we weren't members of this athletic club, but like we would sneak in or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'd go to this room upstairs. And you probably don't remember this, but there's this jumping program to help your vertical. It was called Air Alert 2. And so we did that for like 2 straight months before the season started. Every morning, every weekday before school, 6 o'clock. And obviously, it didn't help me very much. My vertical, I never got that bounce. Never got that bounce. But this is something that you talked about the waking up at 5 or whatever and going and dribbling and moving and working on your game a little bit. But your preparation and your regiment and your work, your preparation, all that stuff, from my understanding, is maniacal. Like, there was an article about you your freshman year at Alabama where you woke up and worked out preschool, before school at 6 a.m. every day. That was your routine. Something on the court, then you would have your post-practice routine. And it's interesting to me because that part of the learning curve when you get to the NBA is developing that routine, figuring out how you have to, get your extra work in with 82 games. But you did that at such a young age. Did you feel like that having that and already being wired that way, did that help you when you got to the league?
I definitely do think so. I feel like just being wired and wanting to, no matter what, just wake up early in the morning, want to be better and want to get better at certain things. So that was just some things that I just wanted to really just concentrate on. I knew I had to get better at certain things. So the only way for me to feel like I'm getting better is working on it. I know, like, I have to get a lot of reps up, and I know sometimes before practice isn't enough. So I have to get there a little bit earlier. And to be honest, it helped me. It helped me through college. It helped me now. I know I had some few times in the league where just shooting the 3 ball was so difficult. Like, I was hesitant and stuff like that. So waking up 6 a.m., even now, like waking up 6 a.m. and going to the gym, like before shoot around, even before practice, it's something that's helping me. So I can't change now.
How old were you when you feel like you started to turn the corner? Like, were you in high school? Were you younger?
Well, when I was in like 7th grade, I really realized like I wanted to be an NBA player. Like, I told my grandmother when I was 3 that I was going to make the NBA, and that was my dream. So, but once I got to like 7th grade, I really locked in and took it serious. And once I got to like 12th grade is when things really became reachable. So I just worked that much harder, and it was pretty cool to see that my transformation from 11th grade to 12th grade was a big jump. I mean, like, it was a big jump, and it was so close. It was so close that I didn't want to mess up. So I just worked that much harder. So,
from my understanding, that was sort of the summer where you made the jump, and you weren't necessarily highly ranked in high school. You led the EYBL that summer in scoring. All of a sudden, you were a top 10 recruit, getting offers from all the blue blood schools. You ended up being a McDonald's All-American. There's a story that I read about you that you were getting ready to go to Colorado Springs for USA basketball tryouts. Was that U17s?
Yeah, U17.
And you really wanted to make an impression with your conditioning. So you had your coach buy you an altitude mask to train in Georgia.
Yes. I was running every morning with the altitude mask. I was working out with it on. Like, I was going through like 30-minute workouts, like on the court with it on, dribbling drills. Like, I wanted to be ready. Like, I knew like once, if they got me in the door, I was going to do the rest. And that's what I did. And I was hoping and hoping that my coach and hoping everyone around like EYBL will vouch for me to give me that invite. And once I got that invite, I took care of the rest.
I believe, did you end up getting MVP, right, of the tournament,
Yeah,
didn't you?
MVP, yeah, at the tournament in Zaragoza, Spain, and we won. So that made it feel that much better. That's
an incredible story. So I think we've done a decent job now of painting this picture of you're a psycho, you're a maniac, you are like there's no
a little bit.
There's no two ways about it. Like this is next level stuff, and to have developed that at such a young age, is even more impressive. And I'm wondering, have you felt at times like you've had to dial it back a little bit in the NBA just because there's so many games? Because I just from my own like experience, my off-season training is way different than my on-court and weight room training in the season. I just can't go. I go 6 days a week. I go twice a day. I go hard in the off-season.
Right.
It's all about sort of maintenance and upkeep.
Absolutely.
So it's instead of an hour and 10-minute workout on the court, it's a 15 to 20-minute workout on the court when I'm doing my extra work.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel that. That's very true. Like the trainers here, they're like, "Are you shooting today?" Like it'll be a back-to-back, and they're like, "Are you shooting today?" I'm like, I'm not gonna shoot right now. I'm not gonna shoot right now. I'm gonna shoot later. So they like, all right, at least you compromise with me and not shooting now and later. So I definitely have been able to like dial it down just a little bit. Just the simple fact that we play so many games, especially now. Like it's a day and then a game. Like you can have 5 games in 7 days. It's so crazy now. So with it being like that, you have to make sure that you're taking care of your body as well, but also doing what you're supposed to and getting the right rest. So you can't go crazy right now. Just it's too long. It's too long of a season, but you can go in there about 30 minutes like before practice and do the little things. Maybe like you missed some free throws the game before, then you go work on free throws, or you miss some easy floaters and you go work like that's how I pretty much decide like what to work on that day.
What's been for you the hardest part of the learning curve in the NBA, or the biggest adjustment, biggest thing you've had to work on or learn or relearn when you've gotten to the league and has challenged you?
Oh man, I would probably say just like probably decision making and just trying to adjust to the different teams and different players, because you have to, like any given night, certain players might be out of the game. They might be resting, and the guy that's the 7th guy on the bench, he comes in as a starter. You got to make sure you know what his tendencies are. You got to make sure you're locked in on the film and really a student of the game. So I had to realize that really early. Just the simple fact, I think my rookie season, like is when it all pretty much changed for me, because like I think I was playing against Tony Parker, and I think he gave me like 4 fouls in the first quarter, and it was just like how? Like I didn't know. I was mind blown because I've never like experienced that. And he's like, got you, Rook. Like I couldn't do nothing with him. He gave me 4 fouls, and that was just when I realized like I got to make sure I know tendencies of everyone. I know Kimball wasn't playing that game, so I had to realize like, all right, like now it's time to get better.
He probably hit you. He probably came to a pick and roll.
Yeah.
You gave the little eye look to see where the screener was, and he hit you with the over the top right to left cross. That's exactly right.
And all I see is back in his shirt, and I tried to block it. He stopped, foul, and one. I'm like, oh. Just like watching film, I had to realize and understand what I'm watching. You know, some people say, yeah, I watch a lot of film, but you can watch the film, but you have to really understand the film and understand teams' tendencies and understand what plays they like to go, especially like, say, for instance, they're down 5. All right, we need a bucket. We haven't scored on 4 or 5 possessions. This is what we're going to. So I really able to lock in and understand that a little bit more.
I want to go back to just like the pre-draft process a little bit. Not necessarily the process, but specifically with regards to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really put the timeline together until we were doing the research and the notes for the show. But when you were doing the pre-draft workouts and you were potentially going to be drafted by Cleveland, like they were in the finals, right? LeBron had taken them to the finals for 4 straight seasons. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I mean, I think everybody assumed that he was going to leave that summer, but it wasn't like a definite. I mean, LeBron kind of keeps everything close to the vest. So you're coming off your freshman year, you're going to work out for Cleveland, potentially playing with LeBron. Like, what's going through your mind?
Well, so I think I had a one workout with New York, and then I came to see the Cavs versus Warriors play game. I think it was game 4, and they lost. And so when I came in the next day, I had my draft workout, and it was like a funeral in here. Like no one said anything. It was quiet. I don't remember who picked me up. Someone picked me up. A couple people picked me up in the car from the hotel, and it was silent. I don't even think they even spoke to me. And I was just like, dang, this is going to be a tough one. And then once like the guys started coming in and it was still quiet, like you can sense in the air that it was like, oh man, it was one of those workouts where I was nervous, but I was just a little bit like, yeah, but let's see how this goes. So I had to make sure I really locked in and focused because as far as the coaches, everyone was down just because the day before they lost 4 games old. So it was something that I was just like, I had a weird but crazy story about that. So
I didn't even realize that really happened. I mean, I haven't been to the finals a ton. I only went once. I went, and it was early in my career. I'm trying to remember if like we were working out guys while we were like I certainly don't think we were doing it while we were there during the finals. That seems like super awkward. Awkward.
It was bad. I'm not even gonna lie. It was super awkward, and I didn't know what to expect. But I performed. I did really well, and it was my best workout, and the rest is history. So I think it happened for a reason. And I'm glad it did happen.
Is it interesting looking at some of the other people from the class now? Because you guys already, I mean, obviously, you've had a lot of success. Luka's had a lot of success. Trey's had a lot. Like, there's just for a new sort of crop of players, there's been a lot of guys who've already sort of made their mark on the league in a short amount of time.
Absolutely. It just shows you how strong the draft class was. Like it was really strong. And then also it just shows you like even my high school class, it's a lot of people that graduated in 17 and are here in the league and doing great things. So it just shows that how next generation is on its rise and coming up. So it's cool.
I've said this on the podcast many times before, but the skill level that you guys have coming into the league, the footwork, the ball handling, the ability to basically everybody now has a step back both ways.
Yeah. Like
when I was first in the league, it was like, well, Paul Pierce has a step back going right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's like not many guys have a step back. Now guys are doing between the leg dribbles and then stepping back the opposite way of the way the ball goes and shooting a 30-footer comfortably. Like the league to me is in such good hands right now. I'm not a curmudgeon. I'm not Shaq or Charles Barkley, who's just, still living in the glory days of the 90s. Like I find that watching and playing NBA basketball, like there's nothing better in the world to me right now. It's the greatest sport, I think. And a lot of that has to do with your generation of players.
Yeah, I think so. I think guys are definitely like I feel like more, like, I wouldn't say more skilled, but really like taking it serious at a younger age. Like parents are having trainers they're hiring trainers at 3rd, 4th grade, like to work their kids out like 5-6 days a week. So even like the next generation is going to be a little bit more advanced than we were, just because of how much they've been in the gym working out and stuff like that. So it's good to see like the next generation, the talents, like as the younger kids, like they're doing that in 5th grade, like step back jumpers, like crossovers, heads ups. It's just crazy to see.
So some of that, of course, is the trainers that people have now. I mean, Brad Beal's a great example. He's been working with Drew Hanlon forever. Jason Tatum started working with Drew at a young age as well. When I was in high school, I had a key to the gym, and I would go alone, and I'd spin the ball to myself, and I'd act like it coming off the screen. I'd shoot a jumper, and I'd run and go get it.
Yeah.
It's totally different. This is an anecdotal story, but when the lockout was going on, there was this like 2 or 3 day period when they ended the lockout, and they said to us, you guys can come use, because we couldn't use the facility, right? You guys can come use the facility, but you can't work with a coach or a rebounder. And I tweeted something out about how ridiculous that was, and I get a lot of slack for it. And it got called like a spoiled professional athlete. This is, back in 2011 when we were still on that kick, right?
Yeah.
And but I was like, nah. I was like, I rebounded for myself for fucking 15 years. And when I got to the league, I'm gonna have somebody rebound for me.
Yeah,
I earned this. I earned this.
Absolutely, because I'm not even gonna lie. Like when I remember going to the gym as well and shooting it, and the ball goes way over there, you're like, oh my God. You just take that long walk and you're like, even like in college, I had to go shoot sometimes and shoot by myself. And those are the tough ones. So I definitely understand where you're coming from about that.
We've all probably shot on the gun before. It's a great invention. Very long net that extends up past the rim. It basically catches your rebounds for you, spits it back out. But there's really nothing worse than hitting the back of the rim when you're using the gun and having the ball careen over the net. It's the worst. It's the worst.
It is the worst. It's the worst feeling, because then if you miss 2 of them, then you got to
restart the whole thing. You got to restart the whole thing.
You got to start over. You got to go get that. And I definitely understand that.
Look, we all know that buying or selling a car is one of the biggest purchasing decisions you can make, and it can really take a toll on your wallet and your state of mind. Well, there's help, because Edmunds has been taking the stress out of the entire car shopping process for over 50 years. At Edmunds, they know cars, and they make everything about the buying process easier.
Yeah, I mean, they offer millions of listings of both new and used cars, super in-depth reviews to help you with your choice, and they also have this special price checker tool that ensures that not only are you getting a good deal, you're not getting ripped off. It's awesome.
That's right. The Edmunds vehicle testing team is one of the largest in the industry, and they're with you every step of the way during the entire buying process. Plus, they make it easy to shop nearby new and used listings all in one place with filters to help fine-tune your search. So play it smart, whether you're just browsing or know exactly what car you want. Edmunds is the place to go. Get expert car reviews, accurate pricing, free appraisals, millions of listings, and more. Visit Edmunds.com, EDMUNDS, Edmunds.com to start browsing local, new, and used listings. Just enter the make and model in the search bar or click the Use Cars tab. That's Edmunds.com. For cars, there's Edmunds. I wanted to ask you a little bit about just the All-Star stuff, because I don't know if anybody told you this. I think I did say this on a podcast, but when we did the player voting and we filled out our starters, I had you as a starter on my All-Star team. I just want to let you know that.
I appreciate that.
I've got the receipts on that. But I think I read a quote that you had, and I think it's a great perspective. And we just had Tobias on the podcast as well, who was another guy who I think was very deserving of being an All-Star this year in the East. But can you just sort of talk about the disappointment, because you are having such a great season, and prior to you guys struggling a little bit in the wins-loss column, you were overachieving when all these decisions were being made about the All-Star game. You could make a strong argument that you should have been an All-Star.
Like it was definitely tough. It was definitely tough. It just made me just want to work that much harder. Like I always try to use certain things to fuel me and certain things to use as motivation. So I definitely use it as motivation. Just because like I know my first 2 years in the league, I didn't make it. The Rising Stars, and I made it the next year. So just like use it as motivation just to get better each and every year. And that's how I look at it. And I know I I know I had a pretty good first start of the season, but now I want to continue strong and finish strong as well. And I feel like we make the playoffs. That'll be something that's way more important than being an All-Star, but it'll be a big achievement if I was an All-Star as well. So,
has it been the winning part of it? You know, I would assume that you've won all your life. You've been on winning teams all your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you came to Cleveland at a time when they were coming off, as we mentioned, 4 finals appearances. How hard has it been to adjust to being on a losing team and having to, I don't want to say there's irrelevancy on being on a losing team, but I've been on a couple teams that haven't had winning records last year. My last year in Orlando, you know, I ended up getting traded and made the playoffs, but we weren't very good that year. And I can say personally, like there was always like a feeling of like, oh, I'm on an irrelevant team, and
right.
That's frustrating.
I feel like they respect, like, no matter how good you're doing, they respect winners. And, if you're winning, then everything else falls in its place. So you can just tell how that is. But I know it's definitely frustrating. Just sometimes, like, you grow up, you win so much, and then you get to the league and you have to readjust and understand, like, all right. You can, like, I remember growing up when I would lose, I'll be up all night. So now I have to just realize, like, all right, let me watch the film. Let me learn from it, and then be ready to go tomorrow. We got another one tomorrow. And that's how I've been able to adjust and just been able to just try to learn from each and every game, whether we win or lose. So,
do you feel like you guys play up to your competition at certain points, in part because, you know, we were talking about this before you got on, you know, you beat Philly twice, you beat Brooklyn twice. You obviously had that crazy run against Brooklyn where you had the 20 in a row and you won in the OT game. But like you personally, but also, you know, the team against the best teams in the league really show out. You know, you've had a lot of those, but then you'll go on these losing streaks where it's like you sort of can't get everything together. So like, what do you think that's about?
I'm not sure. I feel like we definitely lock in when we play against really good teams, even just guys that are like higher up. We always want to compete. We always want to try to beat them just because, like, we know it'll feel that much better. But I definitely understand when it's kind of tough when we are losing to certain games and go on these streaks where we lose like 4 in a row, 3 in a row, and it's just like, dang, we got to find one and just stop this break. So I definitely, it's kind of tough. It's definitely very tough, but you try not to get too up and down. You always just try to stay level-headed and just continue to grow and just continue to roll with the punches.
Isaac Okoro, your teammate, he said that you don't shut up when you watch film with him.
Oh, yeah, like, so like, say for instance, we were on the plane or whatnot, I'll wake him up like, yo, we gotta watch this, or he'll try to act asleep. Oh, I'm tired. Like, I've been knowing Isaac actually since I was like in probably 6th grade. I've been knowing him like for a really long time, like fourth grade. Like, I've been knowing him for a minute. So with that being said, I have to help him. I know coming in my rookie season, it was kind of tough for me, just the simple fact that I didn't have that guy. I didn't have, like, once like some of the vets left, and it was kind of hard to find that one person that I could like watch film and do stuff like that. So now I just make sure I help him out, and especially like if he has a tough one, I'll make sure like, yo, like, you could have had a shot here, or you could have did this here. And he'll ask me a lot of questions, and it's definitely good just to have that one person that you can talk to.
Well, we've had this conversation with a couple younger guys on the show, but, you know, you guys obviously have a great young core. You, Darius, Isaac, Jared, like, you got a lot of young guys that are going to be really good for a long time. Do you feel like you've sort of learned the leadership thing, you know, almost like trial by fire, like you were thrown into it and it just became a thing where all of a sudden it's like you have not been in the league for very long, but you're still almost like a vet to these guys. Like, they look up to you. You gotta sort of lead and they'll follow a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I I feel like I had to learn like being a leader a little bit faster, especially like when I was in college. Like Coach Avery was like big on leadership. Like he was a general. Like he ran the floor and stuff. He always was like, you gotta be a leader today. You gotta be better. If you're not leading us, where we're going. And that was just pretty much always in my mind. So even now, I always like, if I see something, I'll always like let them know, like maybe on the next play, back cut here. I'm always going to just be that leader now, just because that's who I am. And I always want to help. I always want to do whatever it takes for the teams.
Collin, you're 22, right?
Yes, 22.
You're 22, and you're the old head watching film with Isaac. This is we could go a lot of different ways with this, but I would say there needs to be more vets in the league. There needs to be more vets. There's just, unless you're on one of the 4 or 5 best teams in the league, the rest of the league, it's so young now. It's so young.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this recently, but when I was in the league, we had it was me, Trevor Reza, and the guy I got drafted with, James Augustine, my rookie year. That was our young. Oh, and Diener. So there's 4 of us. The other 11 guys were vets. They were men, and now everything's like flipped.
Yes.
There's like 11 young guys, and then like 2 or 3, a
vets.
few. But it's just there's just a knowledge and a wisdom that I think can get passed down, and it's not always from talking. It can be just from observing. I learned so much from Rashard Lewis just watching him, and I love that you watch film, because there's some guy on your plane right now, and there'll be some guy next year and the year after that who will be a film nerd because he watched you do it.
Yeah, like I like coming into the league my first year. I was like with George and Kyle and those guys and Chan. Like those guys definitely helped me get better and help me just continue to understand the game. Like George was like, "What are you doing here? Like what were you thinking right here?" And it helped me. And then like with Kyle, just me being able to watch him shoot and watch him hit 70 straight. And once he missed 71, it's like he's not excited. He's just like angry, and like it just showed you like how much he paid attention to details and how he wanted every shot to be perfect and everything like that. So me just being able to watch these guys and just understand like how they thought and how they pretty much clicked. It was crazy. And for me, like to see Kyle get in the cold tub before practice, after practice, that was something that I was always aware of. Just like, okay, all right, I see why he's here. He's been in the league 13 plus years. I see, I definitely see. So I feel like that's helped me too.
Cold tub is the fountain of youth. I got that from Rashard Lewis, and I've cold tubbed the last 12 years of my career every day. It's got to do it every day.
Got to.
When you were growing up, who did you watch? Like, did you have guys that you sort of tried to model your game after at all?
Oh yeah. Like growing up, I used to love watching Allen Iverson. I used to love watching Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury. I used to like watching Sebastian Telfair too. So like certain guys I used to like love to watch, just because the energy that they brought in, how they pretty much played both sides of the ball and how hard they played each and every night, and they didn't back down. And also they were like little guys too. So
I like the Stephon Marbury. I like that.
yeah.
That's I see that a little bit. I see that a little bit. Yeah.
I love Stephon Marbury. He was just one of those players that just always brought it. Him and Allen Iverson, you knew they play with their heart on their sleeve, and it was going to battle no matter what. And that's how I always thought about the game, and I love to see him compete. So.
Did you play any other sports, or was it always just basketball?
I had ran track in high school, but basketball that was it.
I want to ask you about the Sexland. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. So for the listener, people were trying to come up with a moniker for the young Cleveland Cavalier backcourt, and you've
Absolutely.
got Collin Sexton and Darius Garland. And
Yeah.
it just seems like a natural fit that we just combined the last names. And it's Cleveland. So
Yes,
it's like Sexton just it works.
It fits. I don't know who came up with it. I don't know how it happened, but I think like first start of season, me and Darius have been, even last year, they always was trying to find a nickname for us. Like, oh yeah, y'all in the backcourt, like y'all have to have a nickname. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. Then Larry tweets out and says Sexton or something, and it went everywhere. And I'm like, come on, Larry. Like even like we should like come on. But it's been something that like even at the game, like they'll write it on the posters, and it's crazy how much like even they put it on the t-shirt. So it's like, oh man. But now it's like I'm used to it now.
Larry seems like a character. I don't know him that well, but he's close with Josh Hart,
Yes.
and Josh loves him. But he seems like he's got some shit to him in terms of his personality.
Yeah, Larry is a different type of person. Like Larry, he's laid back. Like he has jokes all the time. Him and Kevin joke all the time. They have these jokes. But when it's time to really get serious and get to it, you can definitely count on Larry no matter what. So
before we let you go, I just wanted to kind of come full circle on this a little bit, because when I was doing the notes on the show, I was like, wait a minute, this guy graduated high school in 2017, because for me 2017 feels like it was yesterday.
right.
And now all of a sudden you're like a vet on your team. And do you ever have time to reflect on this meteoric rise in the last 5 years from summer of 2016 going into that, not being highly ranked, to where you are right now? Like, I'm so excited to watch your career. I want to see where you're at in 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's been amazing. It has been. It's been amazing just to see like my growth, see me getting better each and every year, and it just sees like now people are like taking me a little bit serious and understanding that I can play. So now when I think back about it, I'm glad. Some people say they wish this could have changed or this could have happened. I feel like everything happened for a reason. Because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am today. So all the events that led up to me, maybe like the tough games, the some of my injuries, just like certain stuff like happened for a reason for me to get here, just to appreciate everything that I've been through. So now, like when I look back, it's just like it feels good just to see like I'm here. I'm definitely here, and I didn't let any of those things keep me down. So that's how I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear from talking to you, it's clear from reading about you that you're naturally a very hardworking person, of course, but you're naturally resilient. That you bounce back from failure, you bounce back from adversity. You actually you seem like you welcome it to a degree, and I hope that you have some stability with your coaching staff. I know you've had like four coaches in 3 years. I hope you have stability there. You've had a lot of personnel changes, but what you guys are doing in Cleveland with the group you have, I'm excited to watch you guys grow.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we appreciate the time.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah,
man, you gotta come back on soon. The Sexton correspondent.
I'm going to say it now. Collin Sexton, All-Star Game participant in Cleveland in 2022. I'm calling it now.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man.
That's
Thanks
cool.
for doing this.
Thanks, bro.
This is
Appreciate
cool.
it.
I appreciate it.